I personally believe that when you learn from your own journey, from your own experiences, from your own mistakes, there's no greater learning than that. And I'm just talking from my own experience, you know, whether it's in my personal life, whether it's in my professional life. Take my professional life, for example. You know, I came into the industry with no sort of padding, godfather. You know, I was literally thrown into the deep end. I mean, of course, am I grateful for the opportunity that I got? Yes, but that was also a function of my hard work. I had obviously done some kind of work. But I think that's what enriched my life. It enriched my mind, it enriched my soul. I was able to understand who I am as a person. I was able to understand the people around me. I was able to understand different experiences and different situations. And all of those experiences and that journey of walking alone and discovering as you go along has brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, totally.
No, it's not about am I using myself to do what I do. But what I do, and the only thing that I do know is to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm extremely uncomfortable with dishonesty. I'm extremely uncomfortable with filters. I am someone who embraces vulnerability, you know, and I'm also someone who's willing to accept my mistakes. I'm someone who's open to confrontation and having a conversation. Because for me, my heart and my soul has to be very clean. I think where I am in my life today is to acknowledge it and to embrace it. And the only way I know today, whether it is in my craft or outside of that, is to be honest. So I guess, you know, that's probably why the performances or the crying or any other expression or emotion probably touches you. Endeavor always is to just to try and be as honest as possible, and the camera picks up everything.
The camera picks up.
So yeah, I think all I'm just trying to do is just to be extremely truthful and honest in that moment. And yes, there will be days when, you know, where it will happen, but there could be days where you don't.
Where you don't. True,
you
true.
know, and but that's the exciting part of being an actor. People also don't voluntarily choose, or at least most people don't voluntarily choose to be imprisoned. A lot of times you're imprisoned because either you're conditioned to be imprisoned or your circumstances force you to be imprisoned. And I've had this beautiful experience of coming out, and it's so liberating.
It is.
And my life has only gotten better from there. And the only thing you can do is be empathetic and also be authentic and honest in your journey, and hope that people will pick up from that. And then you come to a stage in your life where actually you're actually filtering, and you're saying, I feel like this is going to better my life, these people are going to better my life, I'm going to enrich their lives. And then automatically, I think the minute you, at least the way I look at things is, I look at everything in my life today with purpose. And if there is meaning and purpose in what I do, that is my biggest filter, then I do it. I had the clarity to, first of all, decide. And again, I think as long as you're honest about your decisions and you communicate that honestly, there will never be bad blood. There can't be. So yes, I have said no to a lot of things, and it's, in fact, like I said, most of it, I have certain filters today, and always remember to work with people you know you're going to have a good time with. You're given, and you work to get to a place, and you're given this opportunity to be able to impact and to touch people's lives through my work or otherwise. And so for me, if I didn't do that,
Nice.
I feel like that's an opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
You know, so I really do wake up every morning thinking, how can I be a better person? How can I push the envelope? How can I bring meaning into everything that I do? And how can I do things differently from the way they have been done historically? And so everything that I do today is driven by meaning and by purpose. Within that, there are things that you are more excited about than other things. And yes, sometimes you have to do things that you don't enjoy doing also, but you have to do them. But I avoid doing the things that I really don't enjoy as much as possible. Having said that, yes, there are certain responsibilities also, and you have to fulfill those commitments and you have to fulfill those responsibilities. That, of course, I will do it truthfully. But if there are things that are within my control, where I have the choice or the option to say, I don't want to do this, I don't enjoy doing this, I don't do it. And then my experiences with them. It could be individual experiences, it could be experiences with my spouse, it could be experiences with my family, experiences with my friends. And also just time for myself, like to nurture myself. I think that's so important, especially in our profession. We're constantly putting ourselves out there and constantly available to people around us. And I think it's extremely important, and there's nothing selfish about it. To nurture yourself and to make time for yourself. Everything else is secondary. You know, whether you hobnob or not, whether you go to parties or not, whether you take meetings or not, all of that is secondary. I think what is the most important is that's your bread and butter.
Yeah.
Everything else you can build around that if that's the life you choose. But you have to get your basics right. You have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the people around you. So how do I cut out the noise? Exactly like we spoke about earlier. I take time for myself. I nurture myself. Of course, there are things that I don't do in excess. Like I'm not excessively on my mobile device. I'm not someone who reads comments. I'm also very sure and confident about who I am and what is it that I want to say. Now again, will I make mistakes along the way? I'm sure I have, and I'm sure I will continue to. But I'm okay with that. I think it's important to accept and to embrace. And to listen. So I think it's some of these things that help me stay centered. There's got to be all of those things. But at a personal level, he's just been a silent spectator to everything to all of my dreams and to everything that I've wanted to do. He's never come in the way of, any of that. I was just thinking about that this morning.
Yeah.
I feel liberated. I never have to worry about, I can't. I think whatever I feel, I felt even some years ago, which is whatever you do it with some purpose and with some intention, with the intention to bring about some sort of change, to be able to impact people's lives with happiness and positivity, maybe some amount of guidance with what I get to do. I think I get to learn a lot, and maybe with speaking about my journey or my experiences or the films that I do, if I'm able to empower people, I think that has always been my intentions. Piku was a small film, but it had meaning, it had depth. I think I need to find that connect. So it's not about how, it's not literally how big or small the film is. I don't think anything changes. In my humble opinion, I feel that's a mistake that a lot of people make, that with more success comes more responsibility, and so you have to start changing things in your life. I actually look at it the other way, which is you are where you are because of certain things that you've done or certain things that you've believed in. So to remember your roots and to go back to and keep reminding yourself of why you are here. and what is it, and what are those decisions, or what are those thoughts, or who are those people who have helped you get to where you are. That's the way I look at it. I think, like I said, I think it's important for me to always remember what is it that I did that brought me here. I think if I had to sum it up in one line, I think it would be to not forget my roots. And I think I mean that in so many ways, whether it's remembering, I think in my personal life, in my professional life, I think in so many ways, I think that line just sums up everything. I think part of the success, I think what comes with success is confidence. And I think that confidence, with that confidence, I'm able to tell myself that, no, it's fine. Like the way I've approached my work so far is the right way to go about it for myself. It could be different for different people, but this is what works for me. And so today, if someone's trying to convince me otherwise, I'm very sure of my instincts. I think the fact that domesticity, home, parents, family, marriage, children, staying connected, roots, all of that is very important for me. I'd feel very unsettled if I didn't have that. But yes, I think today I can see how I can be a working wife or a working mother and still do what I love doing and do it successfully. At the same time, I know that when it is the right time, I'll feel it and it'll happen. I think how much we consume it. We don't sit and watch TV every time, every day, all the time. Similarly, but unfortunately or fortunately, because we have our phones on us all the time, and I see this, I think earlier, if we were sitting with, say, strangers, for example, there'd maybe be an awkward silence for some time, but then you start talking to each other. But now you don't need to make conversation with people because I can pretend to be busy or actually be busy on my phone, or actually keep myself, occupied. So I think, it is about moderation and how, while there are amazing upsides to social media today, and, it's literally brought the world closer, it's also isolating us because we're not engaging with people around us. I think there are moments where you don't feel great about yourself because you're seeing somebody else put up a version of their life.
Absolutely.
It's not their whole life.
Yeah.
Very, very few people, maybe like 0.5% of people will actually put up a post of them crying or a video. Or, it's not real.
It's a performance.
It's a performance.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say a performance. It's just a very, very minuscule part of somebody's life. But when that's the only thing you're projecting, you sort of start wondering, like, is this happening only to somebody else? And why is my life not as amazing? And so it's tricky. Everyone is entitled to an opinion in life anyway, whether it's social media or otherwise, and everyone is entitled to, and rightly so. It encouraged me a lot, in fact, and I felt a lot of strength. I don't even know if I thought about all of that at that point. For me, it was what I felt I needed to do and needed to stand up for and against. So no, I didn't think of, are people going to agree? Are people going to disagree? Are people going to have an opinion? People are not going to have an opinion. I didn't think about that at all. It's been very, very challenging in a lot of ways. I think it just adds that one extra dimension, when you're playing a particular character. It's a very strange equation because when we are together, we don't speak that much, so it's not one of those relationships where you'll see two people just talking all the time when we catch up. I think it's one of a lot of respect and a lot of admiration, a lot of fondness, but a lot of it I think also has to do with being very perceptive and intuitive. I think we're both very, very sensitive people, sensitive to what one is thinking, sensitive to other people's feelings and emotions.